Okay, welcome back. Bear with me. I'm not sure if I have the phone upside down or if I have it right side up. If I'm upside down, I apologize. But anyway, getting back to the books here. I'll leave that there. And we were looking up the breather tube, which is right here in the book. The breather tube for the 8 horsepower Briggs and Stratton motor with the I can't think of the name of the carburetor. Flo-jet carburetor. So it was part number 11 here in the schematic. So we turn to the page and we go down and we find number 11, and the numbers are way down in the crease here. But anyway, they're down here in the crease. Number 11, 67068 tube breather. Note 370769 tube breather used on type NOS 0638 to 0825, and there's some other types in there, code types that it'll work on. But anyway, I wrote all the information down. I have it here on the tablet. And I went on eBay and I looked it up, and I didn't find any new ones on eBay for sale, but I did find a used one for sale in good shape with item 8 attached to it, which is the breather assembly. So they come together, so I get the tube and the assembly. So I just ordered it. It comes out to be like $30 some, but for used part, it's probably a discontinued part also. Probably won't be able to get it anymore because Briggs and Stratton really got away from these old flathead engines, and they went to the overhead cams. So a lot of the parts are discontinued. So anyway, the other thing I went and I did was I went out in my archives and I took an OEM carburetor off, and off of a motor I have out there. Now I don't need the air cleaner, I just need the carburetor. So I'll take this air cleaner assembly off. This carburetor, I had stuck a new gasket in, so I made a gasket. It's not one that I ordered. I made a gasket with gasket material and cleaned the carburetor up and just stuck that piece of gasket material in there just to see if that engine ran, and it did. And now I'm gonna rob the carburetor off of it and use it on this. But I'm gonna go through this and actually clean it. So in a minute here, I want to clear these books out of the way and get these books out of the way, because I don't think I'm going to need them anymore, but I'm going to mark the pages anyway. And I'm going to disassemble this carburetor, and you guys are going to watch. And then we're going to put in some carburetor cleaner today and soak it and get it all real nice and clean and everything. And then we're going to take the Chinese carburetor off that engine that I can't get to run right. And we might end up robbing some parts out of that Chinese carburetor to use in this carburetor. So bear with me, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're going to disassemble this carburetor. So we're going to take these bolts out, and they're threaded in through the top. So we're going to put those up there. And this is another gasket that I had made, so that should come off pretty easily. We're going to save that. Put that up there. And we're going to take this out. And we're going to put that up there. Now we got to take these screws out. So there's 3 screws on these carburetors. So you have 1, 2, 3. So you want to take those out. So we're going to take those out of there, and we're going to put those up here. That there. We're going to place those up here, and the next thing you want to do, you don't want to lift this will not come apart. So the next thing you want to do is get a wrench, and you want to get the nut right here, and you want to break that free, and you want to turn this out. This has the mixture screw on it. So that should be at a real nice little point there. And we're going to take that all apart also. But we're going to put that there for now. And the next thing, if you look down inside this hole, I don't know how well you can see it, but if you look down inside that hole, there's your jet is in there. And you get your genuine Briggs and Stratton jet removal screwdriver. You can use a regular screwdriver if you want, but you can always you can screw up the threads in here. So you get this, and you get down in here. So this jet's messed up, but you get down in there and you get it on it. You turn that jet all the way out. See, somebody was down in here before me, and they messed the jet all up, and now it's a little hard to get it out. They have the brass all mauled up. We're going to turn that all the way out. You'll see it in a minute. I can tell the threads are all messed up too. Somebody was in there with a screwdriver. It was a little too big. But we'll still get it out of there. There it comes. Now once you get that turned all the way out, you'll see how long this thing is. So that's your jet. And your mixture screw fits in that little tiny hole. And then that's how long your jet is. And that goes all the way up inside here and into this top piece. So you can't pull this top piece off unless this is removed. Now this will come off. It's a little stuck fast here, so we'll just, there we go. Break it free. Now this is that homemade gasket I made. Now this has the original brass float in it, and in the bottom of the bowl, well, it looks pretty clean. A little bit of dirt, but it's pretty clean otherwise. But you can see down in here, I don't know if I can get the light right. Yeah, there it is. That's where the jet comes up through. So that would come up through right like that. So that comes up into your top piece, so that's why you can't open it up. You'll break this. Now you can get them yet, because I did break one once, and they always break. There's these little tiny holes right there. There's 4 of them, and that's where they always break. They always break right there at those little holes here in that tube. You can get those yet, but try not to break them, because good chance that the replacement one that comes might not be drilled out to the right hole size, and you know, it might not run right. I mean, it's a chance you can take, because everything comes from China anymore. You can look, hold it up to the light, you can look down through. It should be clear. If it's not clear, then you want to get your carburetor cleaning kit. You want to get your carburetor cleaning kit here. And this has all these little wires in it. It's just like a torch cleaning kit. And then you can go into the end of your tube and work the dirt out. That one's clear, and we'll put this back. So the next thing you want to take off would be, you don't have to, you can leave it on. I prefer to leave it on, but you can take this choke assembly apart. It's all going to get cleaned anyway. So we take that out, we'll put that up here, the others. I always leave the butterflies in. I don't bother taking them out, because the screws are usually peened off on the end. So they're hard to get out, and once you get them out, they're a pain in the butt to get back in. So I usually just leave them in. So there's nothing more to take off on that. Now there's this little brass pin back here. Now you want to be careful with this when you take these off. You want to be careful, because you don't want to push down on this float, because you can change how much fuel goes into the bowl. And if you bend this by pushing down, it'll cause the needle to not close all the way, and it'll let more fuel into the bowl, and you'll have gas pouring out everywhere. So try not to push down on the float. You want to gently just remove this rod, and there's your needle right there, and then that goes into the seat. And then we're going to put that up here, because as far as I know, that float's good and that needle is good. And we're going to put the pin there with it. Now this is the gasket that I made from gasket material. You can see I did a little butchery there, but it worked either way. It worked. Little X-Acto knife job, and I took some hole punches and punched the holes through. So we'll put that up here with the other gasket. And that's really all there is to it. Now there's a tool, you can remove the seat down in there. There's a tool for that. Briggs and Stratton makes it. And it would go down in there and it'll extract that seat, and you can put a new seat in. And it just kind of, it's like a, I wouldn't say it's an exact press fit, but it's almost like a press fit. It's like a snug fit. So we're not going to take that out. We're going to take this screw out. So we're going to take this one out. And this is your air mixture screw. So we're going to take that out. Now that doesn't have the same point as this screw. So you can see this one is squared off. So you always know that this one goes in your top and this one goes in your bottom. So we'll put those off to the side there because we got to take the gaskets off of those. And I'm going to leave the idle set screw in because I'm not going to bother taking that out. Now there's like a little roll pin. Let's see if I can point to it here. There's a little roll pin right there at the end of the screwdriver, and that's what holds this piece onto the stem of the butterfly valve, and we're going to leave that alone also. And we're going to leave the butterfly in there. So that's about as far as I'm going to take it apart. I am going to take this fitting out because I don't want to get an air bubble in there. So we'll take that out with a 7/16 wrench. Oop, no, wait. Can we turn this? No, wait. Might not be able to get this out. Nope, guess it's going to stay in. I don't want to remove that because it's just opening. I don't need to remove it to clean this. It's just opening up a whole boatload of troubles that you don't need. So now we're going to go and get the carburetor cleaner out of the cabinet. Now this is what I like to use. It's old school. My dad used it. My grandfather used it. And it's called a Chem Dip carburetor and parts cleaner. And I don't know if you can, if it comes in a metal can like this anymore. I've had this for quite a few years. Done a lot of carburetors in it. It works really good. And for you guys, the snow blowers and that, and you know, the old gas and it won't run, this is really good stuff. This is the old school way of doing it, and it comes with a basket. So you pull this basket out, and in the bottom of the basket are holes. And you set it up on top of this lid. Put the lid back down like so. Now we're going to put our parts in. So we're going to put the bottom part of the carburetor in. You want to set it so that like it doesn't get air bubbles in it. So you want to kind of tilt it a little like that so no air gets trapped in it. And then we're going to put this piece in. Maybe it'll go in like this, like so, and that's kind of on a slight slant so any air will come out. And we're going to take this gasket off, which is hard. We're going to put that up there, and we're going to take this all the way apart. Another wrench, because there's a O-ring in here. And this carburetor chem cleaner will dissolve rubber and plastic. So we're gonna break this free. That keeps slipping off. There we go. Ah, she's turning. I'll show you here in a second. There is, ooh, look at all that crust in there. Well, there isn't much left of it, but around the edge here is what's left of that O-ring, which is now completely disintegrated. So we're gonna let's see, I gotta take that off yet. I think there's another O-ring in here. It's not coming apart. It is not. You want to be careful, you don't want to mess up that end. So we will get this apart. Maybe a smaller screwdriver to help push it through. It's too big. Here we go. That's a little bit smaller. Get in there. There we go. Push that out. And there's your seal in there, which is awful hard and probably not worth saving. So we'll just drop that in. It'll come out easier once it's clean. And we'll drop the needle in, drop that in, and we'll drop that needle and spring in. What else are we dropping in? Oh, we're going to drop in this jet. We're going to put that in there. Now, we're not going to put the float in. That's going to stay out. We don't need to put that in. We don't need to polish it or anything. It's quite fine just the way it is. You don't want to cause it to leak or anything because they're very delicate, these old brass floats. And it doesn't take much to cause them to leak. And once they leak, they'll fill with gasoline and they'll sink to the bottom. And then you'll have gas just pouring out of the carburetor everywhere it possibly can. So we just leave that float alone. And this is that tang I was talking about that the needle sits on. That's that tang. You don't want, like when I was saying, don't push down on the float. You can bend that tang and that'll reset your float adjustment. So we don't want to, you don't want to bend that. You want to leave that just the way it is because it was fine. And now we're going to put this into our dip. And let that sink to the bottom. Now this stuff will evaporate, so you want to make sure you put the lid back on. Doesn't have to be on tight, just kind of snug. And then we'll move this out of the way and put that up there. And I use almost anything for a rag. Old dirty socks, whatever. So these are the tools that I used to disassemble that, and they're right here. The jet screwdriver, carburetor cleaner, which we're probably going to use later, 2 7/16 wrenches, and I used one of these little pocket screwdrivers, which was probably my dad's or my grandfather's, but these are nice if you ever come across these little tiny pocket screwdrivers. They would have like a little tang on there and it would stick in your top shirt pocket. Sometimes this one used to have advertisement on it. So it was probably for like a, looks like it was for Gas Boy, which was a gas pump company. They made gas pumps, and then a small screwdriver like that, and then the screws. And we don't need to put the screws in the dip. They'll be fine, and they can be reused just like that. and might clean them up a little bit with a wire brush, but they don't need to go on the dip because they're not going to have anything to do with the way it runs. So the next thing we want to do is we want to take the Chinese carburetor off of the 8 horsepower Mighty Mac rototiller. So I'm going to readjust the camera and I'll be right back. Okay, so we got to take this carburetor off now, and that's a Chinese carburetor, and the bolts are metric. So it's not 11, but it is a 10. So we want to take those off. What we're going to do is, not everything on this is bad. It's just that something inside is just not right, whether it's the jet or the set screw that goes into the jet, or I noticed when I started loosening this bolt up, I heard a pop sound, and I'm kind of wondering if and I'm going to take a square to it, if the top of the top deck of this carburetor might be not machined completely flat, and I might have been getting a vacuum leak, and it might not have been sucking the gas up right. We're going to slip this on out of here, and the gas is turned off, so we might get a little bit of a leakage. We're going to put that rod back there, and we're going to get the pliers, take that clamp off. So now we're going to take this clamp back. Now we're probably going to more than likely end up putting new fuel line on this thing anyway, because the fuel line is kind of shitty. It is the original fuel line. Still has the white paint on it from when it was painted by Briggs and Stratton. But I'm thinking the way it popped, like it had pressure on it, I'm thinking this deck up here that attaches to the intake, I'm thinking that might not be machined quite smooth. And I had a heck of a time getting this thing to run, and then to even get it, once it was running, I had to run it on half choke. Like it just didn't want to pull any gas up. And it would run for a little while, and then it would quit. And then I'd have to restart it, and then it would run for a while, and then it would quit. And I adjusted it and adjusted it and adjusted it. I even had this thing apart, had it back on, same deal. Couldn't get it to run right. So I'm going to get a square. Let's see if that top deck is square. So let's see where I put my square. Oh, there it is. Alrighty. So let's see if she is square. No, she is not square. Nope. So what you do is you put your square on like that, and then you hold it up to the light, and if light passes through, which this does, and I'm not going to move the camera to show you, but this is not square. It is higher here in the center at the opening, and these ears that bolt are down. And when I tighten this up, and when I'm tightening it up to the air when I tighten it up into the intake, it's pulling this ear up and pulling this ear up, which also caused this stem with the butterfly to move really hard, which was causing the governor to not work. So your governor is this arm down here, which connects to this rod, and there's a spring on that, and that will govern your carburetor. Now you can fix that. You can redeck the top of this carburetor. So you would want to get it like a piece of float glass, like a piece of window glass, and you'd stick a piece of sandpaper on it, and you could sand it like this and sand the top of this deck. But I don't think it's worth my aggravation. It's a shame. It's a really nice carburetor, but if you look down inside, you can see that jet down inside there coming up through, and you can see how it goes into this upper section. But we're going to take this up to the workbench. Okay, everybody, don't get seasick. I'm going to take you for a ride here. So back up here on the workbench. So this one is in with Phillips screws. Now we're not going to take this apart. That'll be in the next video. So we're going to take this apart and rob some parts out of it and put it into the one that we're cleaning. And that's going to be in the carburetor cleaner dip for about 8 hours, just soaking. You can leave it in a little longer than that. You don't want to leave it in there too long. It will turn the aluminum black. And I know from experience. And once it's black, forget it. I mean, it'll still work, but it's just that it leached into the aluminum. So we'll come out and we'll get this out of the can, and that's where we'll pick up again. So we'll reassemble that and rob parts from this, because we're probably going to use the gaskets and everything out of this one and put it into that one, and it should run much better than what this one did. And this will just be a parts carburetor. I have a couple of these Chinese ones that I couldn't get the run right. They don't idle nice. They don't throttle up very well. If you throttle them up too fast, they start puffing black smoke out the exhaust, and they start like carrying on, and they're just, I don't know, I don't know what they did to them, but they just don't run right. And one thing I never tried doing was I never tried taking the parts from an old carburetor and putting them into the Chinese carburetor. I've never tried doing that. I should try that and see if that solves the problem. It might be the pieces. It might not be the case, the carburetor case itself. It might be like these screws and the jet and everything. I never tried it, but I don't think we'll try it this time. I think we're going to just take gaskets and that off of this one and use them on that old one there, and this is just a parts carburetor. So I'm gonna let off right here and pick up again either in another part of this video, or it's going to end up in the next video after this on the flo-jet carburetor. So everybody have a good day, be safe.